Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to make our double pepperoni and spicy honey pizza in the post kit at home. First thing you got to do, very important, put your grill on at the highest setting and put your oven shelf right at the top. So while that's heating up, you can take your luminous green bag, which should have come in the post, ta-da, and then open it up. And inside you're going to find your pizza box. And when you open the pizza box, you can have the instructions, which you can immediately throw away, of course. And then you've got 2 of our 48-hour double-proof dough balls, 2 portions of our tomato sauce, 2 portions of our mozzarella, the Caputo flour, which we're going to use for the dusting, 2 different kinds of pepperoni, which is obviously really important because you've got 2 different flavors going on there, and then this, which is our spicy honey. And we're going to drizzle a little bit of that over the pizza once we've cooked. So, first things first, take your flour, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little bit of the flour on your bench like this, so just nice clean bench, and then take your first dough ball. So this dough we make by 4 ingredients. It's flour, yeast, salt and water, and then we prove it over 2 processes in 48 hours. So you've got this really lovely like sourdough style dough. So just take a little bit of flour. In fact, I'm going to take a little bit extra. Take a little bit of flour. What we want to do is we want to get this out of the pot, but by disturbing the dough the least. So I find the best thing to do is get a little bit of flour on your hands, lots of flour on the top, and then just go into the side with your finger and just quite firmly run your finger around the outside like this, and then it should just twist out like that. And then take the dough ball, put it in the flour, and we're going to stretch our dough ball. Take the flats of your fingers and we're going to push down into the dough ball like that, and then push all the way around, and then turn it over and push down again. And you can push pretty hard, like as long as you're not stretching, pushing is fine. And what you want to do is you want to leave this little sort of 2 centimeter crust around the outside. And then once you've got it looking about the size of a sort of side plate like that, this is the hard bit. So you remove any bling, no rings on your fingers, and then put it on the back of your hand like that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stretch round the outside of the dough ball. You can see I've kind of got my knuckles caught on that little lip that we've made on the outside, and you stretch round the outside, kind of like round the sort of the hours of a clock, and you just stretch it like this, and you just don't stretch from the middle. And you can see actually, look, I've put a tiny little hole in it, which actually isn't a problem. You can just literally patch it up like that. So keep stretching like this, and you should end up with a dough ball about the size of your frying pan. Also, if you're not feeling confident to use your hands, you can use a rolling pin. Just don't tell anyone from Naples that you've used a rolling pin. Right, so now you've got your dough done, we're gonna move over here and we're gonna make the pizza in the pan. Get your frying pan, put it on the hottest heat, and we're just gonna let that come up to temperature for a sec. The idea is that this will replicate the heat of our like wood-fired pizza ovens. So that should take about 10-15 seconds. Then grab your kit. That's pretty good now. And the idea is that if the pan is hot, that when the dough hits the pan, you'll get that dough spring, and that's how you get that really lovely raised, like Neapolitan crust. Then take your dough, and what we're gonna do is, we're gonna lay it in the pan like this. So when you put it in the pan, you can put it in, it doesn't matter if it's got creases, because you've got about 4 or 5 seconds before it begins to set, where you can sort of push into the corners, and just make sure you haven't got any like dough folded over itself, like that. Cool, and then take your tomato sauce. So this is just really simple. This is just like really good fresh tomatoes from just outside Naples, and we just grind them down with some salt. Then you're gonna go in half of your tomato, spread it around, and you wanna leave, again, that kind of like 2 centimeter crust around the outside so that crust can rise. So next up, we're just gonna leave the dough to cook a bit. You can use your spoon and just get a little booty shot, make sure that you're not burning it. But what you want to have is you should see your crust beginning to rise nicely on the side, so you get that lovely like that raised effect. And then also you want to develop a really nice char on the bottom. And what I tend to do is I leave the mozzarella to go on until just before it goes under the grill, because that way we don't get like overly fried mozzarella. We want the mozzarella to sort of poach beautifully. So you can see this crust, you can see some bubbles starting to form on the sides. And if we have a look now, you can see under here that we're stuck, not quite yet actually, 10 more seconds. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of colour under our crust there, which is good news. So we're going to go on with the mozzarella. So take half of your mozzarella, and it's a bit of a less is more thing. Don't over cheese your pizza, people. And then that goes on like that. Nice little mix. And then we've got the two different kinds of pepperoni. So I'm going to go with the big pepperonis first. These have got a great like garlicky flavour to them, really strong paprika. You just want to lay down half of those puppies. And then come in with the small pepperonis. And these ones are like stronger, meaty flavour, and they've also got a bit more chili in them, so a bit spicier. Cool. So the pepperoni goes on last, because the most important thing with pepperoni is that it cups like that. Make sure you've got them nice and even. Once your pizza's ready, straight underneath the grill there. And you want it to be right up close to the bars, so you get the most amount of heat straight down on the pizza. And it's going to take about 60 seconds, 90 seconds. We are ready to go. You've got nice bubbling and you've got nice crust all around the edge. And obviously the pepperoni has begun to cup. Very important. Grab your honey, and then what you've got is you've got the crust all nice and risen. You've got really nice char marks. The pepperoni has cupped, which is very important. And also the mozzarella isn't overcooked. It's nicely poached, but it's not fried. So the pizza is done. All we need now is the chili honey. Take your chopping board, take your pizza, slip it out like that. Then, this stuff's pretty powerful. So this is fresh chili just mixed with honey. So all it is just a spicy honey. What I tend to do is just take a little drizzle like this and just sort of you get that really fine little strand of honey like that. And it really doesn't need a lot, because what you can do, we put loads in the pot, so you can drizzle a little bit on, and that just goes really well with the pepperoni. But then that you can use for the crust, so you can dunk your crust in that at the end. So in half, in quarters, straight on like that. And then, one more thing to be careful of with pizza on a post is when it comes out of the grill, it is ridiculously hot. So because it's pepperoni pizza, you've got to eat it New York style, so you've got to lift it, fold, and then don't know what it is. It's the spicy pepperoni with the honey. Absolute game changer. And then you can just dunk a little bit extra in the crust. That's it. Over to you. Put it up. It's hot. Bye.